All right. Hi, guys. We're live. I'm here with MogiBeth. Cheers. If you have a cocktail, put a little cocktail emoji if you guys have a cocktail. I'm drinking a lemon White Claw. What do you have, Mogi?
I'm drinking straight bourbon on the rocks.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I know.
Going hardcore.
Now I know who would win in like an arm wrestling contest.
No correlation.
All right, whatever.
Oh, no.
Well, thanks for going live with me today. I don't have much of an agenda other than to just like connect with, a friend in the community and talk, because I feel like every time I have a conversation and talk with somebody in the community, I feel like just a little bit better about what's going on in the world and life.
I think you're actually the first full-time reseller I'm talking to since this happened.
And the first time you're on live YouTube as well. So I got two for the price of one there. Card.
But I have so many questions just because I'm like, need to talk to someone who's going through this with me. I don't know why. I am just not realizing that now. Wow.
Well, it's just you, me, and probably so far 40 other people. So no worries. It's just a conversation. Hi, everyone in the chat. I see all your comments. I'm just going to highlight a few. Hi, Liz. How's it going? Got Bill just talking about you, and Tori. How's everyone doing? Yeah. So what'd you say?
This StreamYard thing is really cool.
Isn't it fun? You can just you can click a button and bring everybody up. It's like they're here with us. So I know.
Oh my gosh, no. This is so cool. I love this. Okay.
Going live is kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Not contagious. It's addicting, because you're like, it's fun. You get to talk with people real time, and StreamYard's awesome. I love it. I have the free version, hence our little duck in the corner, but there is a paid version. Get rid of it. But true reseller, I'm too cheap to pay for that. So
that's real. Okay. Well, I go live every Tuesday on Instagram, but this is like a whole other world. So I'm excited to be here.
Maybe bring it over. You could shift it over, or do both. You could be live on, if you had two cameras set up.
That's what Gary Vee talks about. He's like,
really?
Content everywhere, like do the same thing, but everywhere. And there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people on YouTube who aren't on Instagram. I realize now, giveaway.
Yeah, a lot. That's so true. I feel like the audience on YouTube and the audience on Instagram are two different crowds. I mean, there's some bleed over from both, but there's some people who are on YouTube who are like, no, thank you. I don't want to be on Instagram.
Yeah, I get it.
And vice versa. Yeah, vice versa. So what's up? What have you been doing today?
This was the first day in a long time I didn't go to the office. I can go to my office without coming into contact with anyone, luckily. Yeah. So we just basically shuttle between there and here. But today I just stayed home and listed, and then I did the giveaway, and I sold some mystery boxes. But gosh, I'm realizing how long it's taking me to list and how inefficient my listing process is. I think I only listed like 20 items, which is not good.
That's pretty good. What do you usually shoot for?
30.
Okay, well, 30 is great.
I've got 10 to go tonight. So
okay, well, the day's not over. I won't take up your whole evening.
What about you? What did you do today?
I slept in. I'm not even gonna say how late, because it was late enough for you to judge me.
Oh, wait. Actually, sorry, I'm interrupting.
Oh, go ahead.
I had I don't know if this is TMI, but I had therapy this morning at 8 a.m. on a virtual call. So it forced me to get up at 6:30, which I was like, I need to set an 8 a.m. call every single day. But anyway.
No. I feel you. For a while, I was scheduling some of my podcast interviews for 7 a.m. And I always hated my life when I did it.
7 a.m. Did you get up? How early did you get up before?
I would get up at 6:45. So 15 minutes.
That's what I would do.
No time at all, full on bed voice and everything. So
that's why you have such a good raspy voice.
I just woke up. There's no tension. Yeah, no, well, a lot of times it would be somebody who would be on the East Coast, so it'd be like 10 o'clock for them.
Yeah.
So it seemed a little more reasonable for them. And I think my thought process was like, right, it'll get me up early. But then I always hated myself the night before because I was like, I have to be up at 6:45 in the morning. But yeah. So
wait, so are you you're not an early riser then?
Not really. I mean, if I'm being paid for it, yes.
Yeah.
Like, when I had a traditional like 9-to-5 job, yes, absolutely. I used to wake up at like 5 a.m. because I would go and exercise at my gym before work. Well, I commuted so far. It was like an hour commute for me. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, wow. One way. I know, it was not fun. So.
How many hours of your life just. I always think about that. I'm just like.
Right? Guess why I started reselling. I wanted my life back. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. But today I woke up late and, well, I kind of woke up early and then I went back to bed. So I'm just going to say I woke up at late and I shipped because that's, the most important thing of my day to get it started.
Yeah.
I forgot to schedule a pickup, so I had to go to the post office. But they have a loading dock and back, so it makes my life a little bit easier.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And then I listed a few items. I recorded a podcast episode and now I'm live with you. So
yay, that's exciting.
I know.
Yeah, I'm lucky Matt goes in and shipped for me today. But we've been having issues where we have different post office workers at our office.
Yeah.
And 3 out of 4 of them will pick it up, no problem. But then one of them always marks it as, oh, we attempted, but we couldn't find it.
What?
And so I have to wait and see when that person's gonna come, and I don't know.
Strange.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've heard from a lot of people there's some weird, it's just kind of like luck of the draw.
Yeah, it does depend. For the most part, my person who does my pickups is good, but I have had people just not pick up at all. Like they just never show up, which sucks, because especially on eBay, you get dinged if you ship late. Like if you say you're going to ship and then it doesn't ship. So
okay, I have a newbie eBay question for you.
Oh, yeah.
If you put on your shipping label like a date, how you do that?
Yeah.
And then you ship the next day, should you cancel and get a new label?
Yes.
Or should you keep that label?
Chime in. The chat can chime in, but I believe that is the correct answer. Yeah, because when you're on the shipping label page, what you should do, they have a little bit of a delay, so you're going to get a bunch of answers in like 30 seconds. There is an area on the shipping label page where you can adjust the date. So if you're not going to ship it till tomorrow, then you should the next day. Don't do that same day because it will affect your seller status. And if you're top rated seller, you don't want to lose that status. Here we go. Here comes the answers. Correct. Yeah. Okay. Here's another one. It's best to be as accurate as possible. I mean, it's going to take quite a few late packages for it to bring down your seller level, but you kind of don't want to risk it.
Because I did it next day. And so sometimes I'll be ambitious and be like, oh, I'm going to do it today. And I'll set it out. And then my post office person never comes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, should I cancel this label? And
I mean, I've had that happen and I haven't gone back and canceled the label. So I will say that. I mean, would it probably be better to maybe if you really wanted to make sure you're protecting your seller level?
Okay.
But
it's like, it'd be better to be safe than sorry, but you never run into any issues
No, it hasn't been like a huge problem, but but in general, just like if you can ahead of time adjust the date.
Yeah.
If it's going to be, yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that was a great question. Yeah. So what is Matt doing for the business that's different than your roles?
So, okay, I've been doing this 3 years now, and I have these questions for you too. But I took a step back, this year, and I was like, okay, where do I want this business to really go? Do I really want to be reselling forever? Like, where is this headed? And I kind of mapped out like the vision I have for my life. I haven't really talked about this publicly that much, but I don't mind. And really what I would love to do in my life is just build businesses and have them run themselves and then move on to the next one, run themselves. And then along the way, teach people how to do it. And so then I realized, okay, I need to become much more strategic with how I'm teaching people and how I'm providing them with resources, etc. And so I was like, okay, I need to get a newsletter. I need to get a website. I need to get all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Time went on, never, no progress was made.
Yeah.
And so, Matt was seeing me do that. And so when he came on board, I'm like, okay, you are supposed to be committed to long-term projects. And that's not really happening because we're like kind of in survival mode. Yeah. But he's still working on, like, I think Saturday we're committing to the website. And so he's supposed to be like long-term vision, executing on my long-term vision, and then me kind of running the day-to-day. But
well, that's nice that you even have somebody doing the long-term part, because that's something I feel like for myself, I think we're similar. A lot of resellers are that we're ambitious people, right?
Yeah.
We're hustlers. And so, there's a lot of things like that. Like you said, like wanting to build a website or wanting to whatever, all these different things. But it's like, there's like only so many hours in the day. And it's so frustrating because you're like, I have endless things I want to accomplish.
Coming from you, it's hilarious. I'm like, how does she do it? Like, you do so many things.
You said that to me. So Mogi sent me some questions that she said she wanted to ask me, which I thought was funny because I have a million questions to ask her. But your question about like, how do I manage my time? And you were alluding to the fact as if I manage my time well.
You're the expert at time management, like literally.
No, not at all. I'm really good at faking it, apparently.
You just have so many things that you show up to very consistently. And you're also showing up consistently to your reselling business because it shows in your numbers, what you share. Yeah. So, you're doing something right,
Well, or something maybe also wrong. I mean, I would say that I have like, I don't have much of a life outside of this business.
Yeah, nor do I.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm like, maybe we can feel better about it that way. But I don't know. I guess I'm working the business all the time. I'm not taking many hours of my day off.
Yeah.
So I guess, I tell people, like, don't come to me for information on work-life balance because I don't have it.
Yeah, I was on my Instagram live last night and I was saying the same thing. I was like, maybe don't do as I do, but I literally wake up and start working, and it's actually bad. I mean, that's actually, I need to work out before, but I wake up and start working, and especially now that Matt and I are working together, we're working until we go to bed. So I like it. I think it's like life work integration, and then there are days where we take off and we need to, and I stayed home today and just listed on my couch and stuff, but. It's still though. There's like Brene Brown or someone who says the first thought we have in the day is how much we have to do. And then the second thought, or the thought we have before we go to bed, is how much we didn't do. And it's just like constantly, on the whatever wheel. Yeah. But still, it seems like I'm just very thoroughly impressed with your ability to show up so consistently. Do you ever have days where you're like, I don't think I'm going to be on YouTube this week. Like, just going to peace out.
Yeah-ish. Yeah. I mean, I've been less on a schedule for like the past 2 months. I was really like on a pretty, not strict.
Uh-oh. Is that mine? Oh, Denali's frozen? Am I frozen? I was frozen. I'm like texting Matt, can you get off the internet?
No. Are we good now? Can you see me and hear me?
Yes, I can.
Sorry. I don't know. That's my internet. I think I'm too far from the box, but I'm not moving now because you're not going to see my messy house, which Mogi and I were just talking about. Sorry, what was your question? I got distracted.
Okay, so I asked, do you ever have weeks where you want to get off? You said you were being less scheduled.
Yeah, so I was doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, but then, once, quarantine and shelter in place came into effect and closing down my office, life just felt a little chaotic. And
how was that adjustment? Like transitioning back.
Awful. Totally
Yeah.
awful. Yeah. I mean, it sucked,
Sorry, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it was, it's hard to like be sad about it in the big things, because like my little sad thing is such a small little thing compared to what other people in the world are going through. I mean, like, people have lost their jobs. People are very ill or, possibly dying, right? So like my little losing my office, I feel like I can't have much of a pity party. I cried for like, a half hour one night and then put on my big girl pants and cleaned out my office.
Yeah. Well, so there's, gosh, I'm dropping more Brene Brown, but she also has a podcast, which I actually have yet to listen to, but I've read all her books and everything. Mm-hmm. But it's about how we compare our suffering to others, like the suffering Olympics, and we're like, mm-hmm. we're not winning, so we don't really have the right to feel bad or to really grieve. And then that is kind of grieving a loss, because you made this massive leap in your business, and even if it's the right decision well, I don't know I don't know. I honestly don't know. I have so many questions. I don't know where your headspace is, but even if it was the right decision long term, it's still a grieving. It's a transition. It's a change. So
I wasn't going to do it, to be honest, but I got an email from my landlord that said, I had asked, like, are you going to drop rates, right? Like, are you going to make it a little bit cheaper to, retain people in the building?
Yeah.
The manager said that the landlord said no. So then I get this email saying, okay, anybody who wants to leave, typically you have to give us like 20 or 30 days notice. But if you want to leave and you're out by April 1st, you won't have to pay for April. And I kind of felt like that was a little sign.
Yeah.
My building is month to month. And I thought, okay, now while I could have floated the business, like I could have continued to pay for the office. It wouldn't have been the end of the world. However, like, was it a financially responsible decision to make, given that I could leave? It didn't feel financially responsible. So, and I didn't want to be, my building would be a high contact area for coming into contact with a lot of people. So I just thought, you know what? I can come back. This is not the last time I can work in an office. This is not the last time I'll have an office. 100%. And not everybody has that luxury. Like I'm guessing for your building, like you're locked into a lease. It's not like you could have gotten out for April. Like I'm very blessed in that way. You know what I mean? So I other offices, and hopefully I'm in the same building. I loved the building I was in. So
you said when you were live with Steven that that listing is available still? They put it up?
Actually, it is. I just saw it again this past week. So I'm kind of curious if the landlord had probably wished that he had just dropped the rates, on the building.
100%. Like that is not even, I don't know.
Even if it was just
a landlord, and so like I was talking to him throughout that he's a commercial landlord.
Yeah.
Kansas, and he took action. Well, he's like the best landlord ever. And I always compare my landlord to him, and I'm like, but he like slashed their rates immediately, and not just like a deference, but just, you don't have to pay me back. Like this is until this ends. This is your new rate. And I mean, it makes financial sense too, because whatever. I'm not even gonna get into it, but hopefully you can get that space back again, and then you'll save money.
I'm an optimist. I'm an eternal optimist. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be back there in either the same unit or a better one. So
yes,
I feel good about life. So that's why I was just not too sad about it. But I mean, have you felt, and I don't know if that's too personal of a question, but like, have you felt stressed about having that overhead during this time?
This month was the first month. April is the first month where it's going to get tight. Mm-hmm. So if it continues like this, I think, I think I am. I think I'm stressed about the whole thing because there's no length. We don't know how long this is going to last. If it was like, okay, only April and May are going to be difficult and then we'll be fine, I would be like, well, we can stick it out, but we don't know. And so I have faith that like if we need to, we can pivot and we can make it work. Like I'm not that worried, but this hasn't, stress shows up it manifests in a lot of different ways for me, and it sneaks up behind me, and I'm like, I don't even know I'm stressed, and then I'm like, wait, why am I doing this? Like, I'm doing so many little behaviors that I wasn't doing before. So I'm not even paying attention to the chat off.
Oh no. So yeah, everybody's saying that I'm going to get the bigger unit that
I want.
So some of the bigger units are currently available, which is never happens. And so seeing that some of these bigger units are available, I was like, ooh.
Oh my gosh.
But
yes.
They still want the same price. I'm like, no, we're in a different market right now, unfortunately, and you need to adjust because you're not going to fill those spots. Who, they've been advertising it like, oh, are you sick of working from home during shelter in place? And I was like, no, nobody's sick of working from home during shelter in place. Like, they're all in their pajamas. Like, they don't have to pay that bill. So
no one's taking financial risks right now. So
hopefully
you'll be able to negotiate easier then.
I mean, I'd like to, but I don't know. I'll just wait it out. For now, I'm just trying to make the most of it, just being back home. My garage is a mess with all my inventory, but whatever. Have you looked into any of the loans or anything like that?
No.
Or grants, loans, what all this stuff that exists out there?
No, I kind of gave that to Matt. I said, if you want to present me with some information, you can, but I do not have bandwidth for it right now. I also just I have like a weird ethical thing with it where it's like, I'd rather that money go to someone who's like employing people. And since we're not doing great, businesses and our sales have definitely taken a massive impact, but it's just me and Matt. I don't know. I don't know. I always have that weird ethical thing, but what about you?
I did. Excuse me. My WhatsApp coming up. Yeah, I did, but nothing's happening.
Yeah.
That's continuing to happen. And I more was doing it out of curiosity because I was like, well, what's going to happen? Like, I'm going to fill out this application. Like, what are they going to come back at with me? Like, what's the number going to be? And is it a loan? Is it a grant?
Yeah. And by the way, not to say if you apply, it's unethical.
No, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. Because there's a limited amount of funds and wanting to make sure it goes to businesses that need it. Totally.
It's taxpayers' money, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Million Monica said, same Mogi, didn't want to take money from businesses that have more overhead. Yeah. There's a lot of businesses that are struggling right now. So, let's see. Savannah said, I just got an email from the EIDL. Wow. Wait, have you gotten your stimulus money, Mogi? You don't have to answer.
I don't think so.
I didn't get mine. And I heard a lot of people were going to get them today. So I was like, oh, I didn't get mine.
But also my mailman here is like very unreliable. So I don't know.
Well, no, I think it was supposed to show up in your bank account today for like the direct deposit. Yeah.
It shows how much I know. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, Savannah said people with employees got a bigger grant. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. So I think it's like if you're just by yourself, you got like 1,000, and then it was like 1,000 for each employee. So, Liz said her stimulus came in. Aww.
Okay, I need to go check that after this.
Yeah, mine didn't. Okay, good. I feel better. Tiffany and Hugo didn't get theirs either. At least I'm not alone. All right. Well, what else?
Wait. I have all these questions I want to ask you. Okay, this is one that I'm really curious about. Okay, in reselling, we have all these systems, right? Like our inventory system, all this stuff. Yeah. Do you feel like you've been doing this a while and you're full time? Do you feel like yours are like peak efficiency, or do you feel like you have room for improvement? And if so, which one?
Oh, I am not efficient. So I'm not a very organized person.
What? I don't believe that.
No, I'm a doer, but not on the back end. Like, I'm like, this is a great idea. I want to incorporate this into my business. I'm like, I think big in that way. And I'm like, let's do this. But I'm not so much on the details. And that's where I would love to have, like, for instance, a Matt in my life. You know what I mean? I want somebody on the back end. And I don't know if that's the exact role that he plays for you, but nonetheless, just a helper.
Yeah, just anyone.
Anyone to come help me. I don't care who you are.
Warm body. Just
a warm body. My requirements are just have a good back, right? No bad backs allowed. And
oh my gosh.
I think, my dream would be to have somebody come and help me clean up my inventory because, I think the bare necessities needed, right? I keep my items in bins. I number the items. I can generally 99.9% of the time find my items. However, do I have it in, the most easily accessible way, able to find bins? Like, I don't have bin number A next to bin number B. Bin number A might be next to bin number M.
Wow.
It's like I hate myself.
I want to see your whole setup. I'm so curious.
Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. It's a little crazy, but I'm like one of those people who's like a true organized mess. Like, I'll know where it is, but nobody else will. So I 110% have lots of room for improvement. And I feel like I'm always learning. Like, people always in this community have great suggestions on like, well, I do this, or, I do this.
Yeah.
My friends Tiffany and Hugo Sell Quick Ship Quick, they had told me that they like reuse those Ziploc bags.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Which I think is genius. Like, why don't I do that?
Well, but what do you do currently? Do you not put a poly bag?
Those little plastic bags that, the clear poly bag.
Yeah, the single-use ones. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that the Ziploc bag is really smart because you're reusing the item. Why am I not doing it though?
Well, I used to use Ziploc bags and single-use poly bags. So I was like double bagging it, which is
okay.
I was a little bit OCD. But I use those Ziploc bags now, and I just the bags, and I don't use single-use plastic, which I like. But
so where do you, after you take the item out of the Ziploc bag, do you just like keep them in a pile, or do you put them back into the bin? How does that work?
Yeah, so I have my shipping table, and then I have a little table next to it, and it holds all the different bags. And so I have like accessories bags, I have regular size bags for clothing, and then I have like a 3 or 5 gallon size bag for like oversized items. And so it holds extra, but we're growing pretty fast, so I am like I had to order a ton of plastic bins last week, which was, it's interesting how we're growing items wise, because no one's buying anything, but also because we're just like working so much. But
so how many items do you have in your inventory right now?
750, but I was like 600 at the beginning of the month, so it's been pretty. I guess that's not super fast growth for me. Like last month, I listed 200. So
yeah, I'm just reading some of the comments.
Yeah, what are they doing? Because when I opened it, YouTube on my thing.
Oh, well, did you see the chat on the side?
Okay, I can't figure out how to turn the volume off.
Oh, sorry. Just press volume down. Is that an option?
Just turn your volume down. Sorry, that's like obvious. Okay.
Let's see. Valerie said being unorganized is stressful. It is, Valerie. I don't suggest it to anyone, but somehow I'm a glutton for punishment. So
oh wow. Yeah. Oh well, okay, so my whole brain orientation right now, there are a few topics that just keep revolving on my brain. One is I really want to use this time to get everything so systematized, like I said earlier, that I could step away from it and it could run efficiently. And so adding Matt into the mix, because now he's helping me read selling lines, is making me realize like how like the different kinks in my operations. And so just today, I had someone reach out to me and say that the size, we like do a daily manifest of like what we're processing, and then I list those items, that the size that they got was different than the one listed. And that's really like, I don't do that very often, but Matt photographed the item and manifested it, and I listed it. Anyway, it's just like, the more people you add into the equation, the more problems that can arise. And I am so used to having my hands on every single step of the process that letting go of control is like,
I know,
but I'm learning.
That's the part that stresses me out as well, is just like, it's exciting to have somebody come into your space to point out ways to do things better. I think that can be an exciting part about bringing somebody into the business, but then at the same time is giving up that control. Even something as small as like, I've thought about outsourcing my photography to somebody else, but it's when you have it done the way that you like to do it, so particular, I get nervous about what I would see from somebody else, even though the realistic part of my brain also says, Denali, you won't care. You will be so happy to have somebody else taking your photos. It won't matter. Like,
no, you will care because Matt's taking some of my photos, and I'm like, wait, why would he do it this way? Like, as if he's supposed to be able to read my brain. So I don't know. What else have you been learning? Like, because that's what I'm learning during this process. Matt and I are, I'm adjusting to having someone else working with me, and I think it's good because he kind of bears the brunt of me learning the hard way, like what I need to work on and everything, management wise. And but what has during this pandemic period, what have you learned about either yourself as an entrepreneur or like, whatever in your business?
I mean, I think with the office, I just, further trust in myself to make good decisions and to be resilient, because that's how I've always made big decisions in my life.
Yeah.
So like I said, with that one, even though it was sad, I know better things will come. Right. So there's that part. I don't know. I went two different ways in terms of like my inventory and my business, because one part of me, I started out the year going to regular thrift stores after shopping the bins for like a year. Right. And I was like, I'm going to do thrift stores now. I love it. It's super great. And then now I'm like, no. I want to be bins. I want to be back to the bins because I like the cost of goods. It's so low. Especially during these times, right? And feeling like I'm carrying this inventory that cost me a lot of money. But also, I was chatting with Steven, Sea Fashion Guru, this past week about buying wholesale. And I'm buying some liquidation, and I spent a lot of money on it, more money than I've ever spent on inventory at one point. So I don't know. I'm also excited about that. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited. And I know that you've been dabbling in that as well. It's pushed me in a new direction, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Even though it's scary. Yeah. It's fun. And I'm excited to see what will come from it. I know it will be profitable, but just when you send over that wire transfer, you're like, oh, I'm sweaty. Like it's a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, that is true. It's forcing all of us to really get out of our comfort zones and spend a lot of money, honestly, when sourcing, because even if you do online retail arbitrage, that's really expensive. And ThredUp even is like really expensive.
So I've been watching like people's ThredUp like online arbitrage, and now granted you're buying in smaller quantities, but sometimes what people are paying is more than what you would actually pay for liquidation.
Oh yeah.
Now you're having the opportunity to buy it for $100 at a time. So that's the benefit, as opposed to spending possibly $1, $2, $3,000 on what would be a larger.
Oh, wait, you're saying on ThredUp it was less than liquidation?
No, it's more. I'm sorry if
I
worded that incorrectly. But when I've done retail arbitrage on ThredUp, like I'm paying way more for items than I would for
100%
liquidation.
Yeah. The only issue with wholesale is that you don't know what you're getting and the condition it's in.
Yes.
But yeah, also letting go of control a little bit, because as a reseller, we're used to having full control over. I have really prided myself on being like hand selected pieces and like really being able to check comps on everything.
Yep. Yeah. Dodie wants to know where she can find your mystery boxes. Do you have any left, or will you have more?
Yes. So they sold out literally in 3 seconds when I put it. Insane. I don't know. Yeah. But I have like tons more. And I think what I might end up doing is doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but definitely Monday. So, and I'll just release them just to let my post office person have a break. If I do them all at once, they'll
cool. And your closet name, is it just MogiBeth, or what is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And I'll put it in the description of this video later for people who watch the playback. But
thank you.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just reading some of the comments. Yeah. I mean, if you can get a pallet or wholesale with a manifest, that's great, but they don't all come with it. And that can be frustrating as well. And yes, not knowing.
You're paying a premium if they do.
Yes, you're paying a premium for that. And then also, right, the manifest, if you're lucky, it includes the condition of the items. Otherwise, you're telling, which is probably not even always promised. So, yeah.
I mean, you can look on there. I'm not going to get into it. Yeah. So I told Denali, I'm not talking about this publicly yet. Yes. But I have been, if you go on my Poshmark closet, it's pretty obvious. I have been experimenting. I'm not going to exactly go into how or why or where, but experimenting with it. And eventually I'll have a lot of tea to spill, but I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. A lot of different challenges.
Yeah. Kind of on that note, which in your questions to me that you sent on Instagram, you're talking about like kind of barriers, or what is it that you're saying? Boundaries. Yeah. Is that one of the boundaries?
Yeah, that is a boundary. I get a lot of I mean, so I don't have like a massive following or anything, but it has been growing, at least on YouTube, in the past like 6 months pretty substantially. And so ever since then, ever since I made my public whatever profile, I had received the question, where do you get your inventory? Like, no matter where I'm sourcing.
Yeah.
And but when I was sourcing at Goodwill, I could just be like, my local Goodwill. No one knows.
Yeah.
But the further you get along your reselling journey, the more that you become more knowledgeable about different sources and different opportunities. And I will say, though, this is something I wanted to say. I have never learned about a really good sourcing opportunity from publicly available information.
Yep.
It's always come from either my own research or someone, like one of my friends, texting me.
Yep.
And so if somebody is putting out that information online, either A, it's like not going to be available for everyone for very long, or B, it's probably too good to be true, Right. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents. And so I think it's a good idea, at least sourcing wise, to like create connections or do your research.
Yeah. Yep.
But boundaries. What boundaries have you set?
Well, a boundary I've had for a while was being selective with the amount and type of information that I'll give about my family online.
I want to hear all about this because this is such a interesting topic to me. I don't have kids. I want to, in the next 5 years or so. Mm-hmm. And Matt is someone who's very private, and so I have to get his permission if I ever show his face.
Yep.
So how do you navigate that?
Yeah. So for instance, you'll see right here, there's like 2 little 3M context stickies. And that's because I took down a picture that was up there of me and my husband.
Yay! Boundaries.
So a lot of people will message me, and sometimes I have. It's not like that private. There's, I think, 1 picture of my husband on my Instagram page if you were to scroll through.
Yeah.
But people say, like, how come you never post anything about your husband or anything like that? And I always say, because my husband didn't sign up to be part of the reselling community. If he was my Matt and he sold with me, and that would be cool if he did. But even at that, like you said, Matt's a private person. My husband is still a very private person. And so I choose to not share as much about him or feature him as much because even in the small amounts of time where I have shared information about him, my husband will get follower requests from resellers. So,
how does he feel? I don't know. How have you have y'all?
I don't know how people necessarily find him. Even my brother said it's happened to him, and I don't post anything about my brother.
Wow.
So yeah. And that's just a part of my life that I want to keep a little bit separate because, my husband has his own job and I don't want any.
There's so many potential repercussions. I think as a previous HR manager, right? Like that you can understand what those are probably better than anyone.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's not relevant towards any of my journey or the information that I'm sharing. And it's not that I'm, ashamed or embarrassed of my family. It's just like, doesn't have anything to do with me, and I have shown my son and I'm comfortable showing him. And sometimes I say his name and sometimes I don't say his name. And we've made YouTube videos together in the past and we don't anymore.
Aww.
Yeah.
But I need to find those. That's cute.
Oh yeah, they're cute. But yeah, so that's kind of been my boundary, I guess, in my public reselling journey, is that I just choose to not talk about that as much.
Yeah.
Because it's just not, I don't feel like it doesn't necessarily add to my story. And I don't need them to be more interesting. Like I'm
good enough.
What is that saying? Like, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and
you are good. You are
like me.
From the what's that movie?
Yeah. I know. What's that quote? I can't remember it, but yeah, like here, Bill posted. I posted about like a Disney cruise that my family went on. So if you wanted to see video of like my son and my husband, like there's content out there, you know what I mean? But for the most part, yeah. Oh, here we go. Lori said, and gosh darn it, people like me. And yeah, Barbara said my husband isn't on social media. I mean, some people, they're just, I don't know. They just don't want to have it public. And I get that. So
I totally respect that. And I respect people who don't mind. It's just everyone's boundary is different. And I think I was listening to someone talking about boundaries today. And the thing with boundaries is you're not going to make everyone happy ever. You just have to choose. So in your business, are there any boundaries that you've drawn where it's like, I won't share this?
I'm like, somebody's giving me private information, like, obviously as of recent, and we talked about this a little bit beforehand, but like liquidation, like I'm not going to share private wholesale or liquidation information. I try not to say, okay, here's one. A lot of times when I travel, people say, what locations did you go to? Which Goodwill outlet locations did you go to when you were in Denver or when you were in Los Angeles? Now, it's not hard to probably figure out where I'm going. However, I never say the addresses. I never tell people which location I went to because that's not my home store.
Yes.
And it's not my job to blow that location up and possibly ruin it for other people.
100%.
So when people reach out to me, for instance, about Los Angeles, I say there's 7 Goodwill out locations in Los Angeles. I encourage you to try them all out. But
I love that.
But to be honest, it's, if you did a little bit of snooping, it wouldn't be too hard to figure out where I go, because that's how I figured out myself where to go, going back to what you said about, right? Just do a little bit of research and that's how you kind of find the best information. So yeah, I don't want to ruin anybody else's spot. And I try for the most part not to say the stores that I go to locally, though anybody who's a local reseller can probably figure it out. And that's okay. So
I feel the same way about Portland because there's so many resellers here. I'm new, 6 months in or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not, it's really, I don't have the right to share that information. I feel like a lot of people's livelihoods depend on these places. And I'm not, it's really, I don't feel like it would be very disrespectful, I feel like, for me to just figure it out and then immediately share it with the world. So
yeah, exactly. Because, we are actually working this job and working this business. And so we're going to see these people when we go back out to the Goodwill outlet or to the regular thrift stores. And you don't want to be hated by them.
Yeah. And the local community is, like, at least here, is so receptive and welcoming. And they've shared so much with me, like, to then turn around and like share that information.
Yep.
It would be, I don't know. It's just not, like, again, not that I'm like, so like have tons of followers or whatever, but like, who knows what could happen. I don't know where the information is going. Right. And that's the thing is, like, I trust the people who I talk to online, but I don't know everyone who I'm sharing this information online. And so I just always think of like, what's the worst thing that could happen with this information sharing? So I don't know.
Yeah. And for the most part, and anyone that I've messaged and I like, for instance, about like the Goodwill outlet in Los Angeles, anyone that I've told like, hey, that I don't give out that information. I hope you understand and respect that. Everyone has been receptive and I've gotten a positive response from. People are like, oh, I understand. I totally get it. So, or at least of the people who replied back. But I have had, like, I've gotten a few like negative comments on ones where I travel where people say like, you know, it's because of you, our location is so busy now or something like that. And I don't know, could there be truth to it? Maybe. Am I intentionally trying to do that? No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's another part of me that's like, that information will get out there inevitably.
exactly.
But yeah.
And I felt like for me, wanting to like thrift Los Angeles, honestly, is because at the time last year, I didn't really know of any LA Goodwill outlet shoppers. And I was like, it's a little too quiet. You know what I mean? Like, it must be really good because I don't hear anything from anybody. You know what I mean? So that's what attracted me, honestly, to going there. So I say anywhere where it's a little too quiet.
So you took the risk. You went without knowing.
Yeah.
And then you acquired information, learned. And that's the other thing is that like whenever you do something new, you're taking on risk. Yeah. And especially when you spend money doing that.
Yes.
So,
Oh, I'm looking at the comments. Carla said, LA bins are always busy. So Carla and her sister shop at the LA bins, and I met them there when I was there. They're awesome. Actually, LA bins shoppers, I have to say, LA thrifters in general, I really love them. I've met so many wonderful
They're like
people.
your family. Yeah.
You really are. I love them so much. I've met so many wonderful people. So that's kind of
that's so cool. Did you meet I know you met Laura at the Goodwill bins?
Yeah.
What about
we're just like sorting next to each other.
Them there, or you met them previously?
Tiffany and Hugo, I met at eBay Open.
Okay. Oh, rip eBay Open.
Yeah. R.I.P. eBay Open. Do you think there'll be a Poshfest?
Part of me hopes not. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, yeah, because we'd all be in like this big public room together. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I hope everything is okay by October.
Yeah.
Maybe the second wave will have happened. I don't know. But I don't know. Poshfest I love and I hate. Like equally strong amounts. Like I don't know.
Do you care to elaborate or no?
Well, I love seeing everybody.
Yes.
And I really I met you for the first time or the only time.
Yeah.
I met so many people. But there's two reasons I don't like it. One, I think the information shared at Poshfest is virtually useless. Like I think you could get better information on YouTube. But second of all, and I told Poshmark that, whatever, like the whole thing. But the second of all, I'm an introvert. I have social anxiety. And even when the best case scenario happens where people come up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, whatever, I follow you, you're so cool, whatever.
Yeah.
That actually gives me anxiety as well because I'm like putting faces to the follower count, and then I'm like feeling even. I don't know. I like to sometimes just treat it as a business, but then when I put faces to it, I'm like, wow.
Well, that's spoken like a true introvert. And with social anxiety, I'm an introvert with social anxiety, but I fake extroverting really well.
Yeah, you're good at it.
Yeah, I don't know how. I think maybe enough drinks or something like that, or it's like
read Quiet by Susan Cain?
No.
All the introverts. Have you read Quiet by Susan Cain? It is so good. Is your well, I don't know if this is personal information, but is your son an introvert by chance?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have to read this book.
Okay, what is it?
Okay, so it's a book about introverts, and like I think she's a psychologist or something. I don't know. Yeah. She researched how in our culture today we are very extrovert centered. If you think about networking, if you think about like business culture, it's all centered around like getting out there and meeting face to face and really like being loud and like whatever. So but this book is just so, sorry, what was my point was? Oh, my point was that in the book they have it, I think a chapter or at least a section, I don't know, whatever, dedicated to the fact that a lot of introverts have created a facade of extroversion, and so you would never guess it, but you almost have to in order to exist in this extroverted world. And so I don't know, it made me feel seen for the first time. I was like, oh my God, I never even called myself an introvert before reading that book.
Is it on Audible?
I listened to it.
Perfect. Okay. I'm like, I'm an Audible lover because I like
it's
to.
Not read by the author, I don't think.
You what?
It's not read by the author. Yeah.
Oh, I love when they're read by the author.
Oh.
Dang, that sucks. Sorry, I'm reading some of the comments.
Yes.
Oh, people are saying that they loved meeting you at Poshmark.
I know, I loved meeting you too, Tori.
Oh, hi, Chrissy. Chrissy's here.
Hi. Oh my gosh, Chrissy! I didn't put Resell Revolution together.
Oh, another introvert life.
Yeah, you should come to Posh Fest. 100%. I'll go every year. But.
Oh, Millie and Monica, she said she's read that book.
Okay, yeah. That's even more important for people who are married to introverts. Like, if you love an introvert, I think it's also really important.
Yeah.
Oh, you're reading it. Okay, that's so cool. It's such a good book.
Okay.
Another really must-read book is Mindset by who's that? By Carol. Someone tell me.
I don't know. Now when people
I bet you've read it.
When people say Carol, all I think is Carol Baskin from Tiger King.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. Tell me
about it?
Quickly, tell me your thoughts on Tiger King.
Okay. So I had listened to the podcast beforehand that they had last year.
I need to listen to it. I saw it on your stories and I was like, oh, I need to listen to it.
It feels very different because what's interesting that I've noticed from people now watching the documentary or whatever it was on Netflix, that there's a lot of dislike towards Carol. Like it feels like a lot of the focus is on disliking Carol.
Yes. Okay,
but I'm like, and the whole thing, I feel like people have focused on did she murder her husband? Which is okay, cool. Yeah, that is one part of it. But we have this guy who severely mistreated animals and his employees.
Not to mention the Doc guy. What's his name? Doc Mantle. He's the worst.
The worst dude. Yes, but everyone's so focused on the woman, which I think is so interesting.
Oh my God, so many sexist undertones here.
I know.
But I totally agree. She murdered her husband for a good cause.
He was a sacrifice.
It's just going to be just kidding.
No, but when I listened to the podcast, what I remember from the podcast, and I don't know, maybe it wasn't this way, but this is what it felt like stuck out to me. I felt like there was more of a focus on the animal abuse, which I feel like it wasn't as heavy in the documentary. They talked a lot about in the podcast about how he would do mall tours with the animals. So they would take them into the mall and, people got to hold it for $5 or whatever. And talked a lot more about how he was kind of frivolously killing the animals. Yeah. So there's more in the podcast, I guess, if you're feeling a little dark.
No, I did.
So yeah, I thought it was interesting, the whole thing about Carol. Nobody likes Carol. And I'm like, she didn't bug me that much.
Wait, how do I don't think I can highlight.
Oh, sorry. Just tell me which ones. I'm looking at bananas.
Our first family Halloween costume is going to be Carol Baskin, Joe Exotic, and Rochester and Baby. That's so good. Yes, benevolent.
Oh my gosh.
That is my exact thoughts is, okay, Carol Baskin did a horrible thing and she should go to jail.
Yes.
But I really do believe she did it because she truly wanted to save tigers and also she probably hated him, whatever. But the fact that she is trying to pass legislation that is cannibalizing for her business, it would basically end her business.
Yeah.
To me, it shows her character.
Yes.
And, maybe not her full character, but the fact that she's actually here on this planet for try and make a positive impact. Why is she the villain? Like Joe Exotic and Doc Mantle are literally so self-interested, like abuse animals, abuse people, take advantage of people. Like how are they? How is it like Joe Exotic? He was, queer in the Midwest, which I think is hard, or actually in the South. And so like, I think that angle is like really interesting because it's like, whatever. But other than that, like, why do I have my sympathy? Like,
right. Exactly. I know. Yeah. So I'm glad I'm not alone. I'm glad that I'm not
on Twitter, and I was like, what the heck?
It's not that we're Team Carol. We're just not pro Joe.
I'm kind of Team Carol.
We got to keep the chat on our side.
Murder.
No.
Still.
But you know what? Part of me wondered if the whole fascination with Carol is just due to, in general, like people like murder podcasts, murder shows, documentary, like unsolved murders. So I just wondered if people just focused on that part because that's just very interesting to people to hear about. So
I mean, it does like pose a really interesting question where it's like, okay, does killing one person or murdering tons of animals?
Yes.
Like, where
animals, right?
Yeah.
Right. Who do we value? What do we value? Yeah. Did you watch?
I mean, Doc Mantle is the worst because he basically is like taking advantage of 16-year-old girls.
I mean, like a cult. I mean, that's a whole separate documentary in itself.
It really is.
Did you watch?
Yeah.
Whatever. Did you watch McMillions?
No.
Oh, you should watch that.
Okay, right now.
It's a little bit ahead of your time. I know I'm only like a year older than you. Just kidding.
What's the movie you sent me? And then I like tried to buy it.
You have to watch that.
I haven't watched it yet.
Because I feel like if nothing else, Matt will be into it.
Okay.
And I don't even know him. I just know that that dude's like this movie because my husband enjoyed it. Okay, it's called American Movie. Rent it tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I'll send you the $3.99 to rent it.
No. I'll buy it.
Everybody here watching should watch it. So if you're one of the rare few that's seen a documentary called American Movie, it is hilarious. It's about two regular old dudes living in, I think, the Midwest. Yeah, I think it's the Midwest. Maybe they're from like Minnesota or something. And their big dream is to make movies, but they're not like, it's all low budget. But cool. Really it's about them. They are two very incredibly interesting people. After you watch it, you can go see, like, they brought one of the dudes on like David Letterman show like many, many years ago. Cause it came out so long ago, but a lot of people really enjoyed it. But McMillian. Oh, sorry. Am I back? Did I cut out?
For me, it cut out. But what's McMillions about?
It's about the McDonald's Monopoly game that used to take place in the 90s. And like as a child, what?
It doesn't take place anymore? I thought
they do have it at like the grocery stores now, but back in the day, it used to be on McDonald's, like on your cup, you could peel off these little game pieces. Yeah,
I was like I was born in 92, so
okay, got it. Yeah,
5-6 prime McDonald's time. Like stickers.
Oh yeah, then you'll be into this because right, we all thought we were going to win $1 million, but this whole time the game was fixed, and somebody internally was stealing all the winning pieces.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like it was one guy, and he was selling it to he would sell the pieces to family members, and he ruined lives. Like he really destroyed people's lives over this. So you got to watch it. It's really good.
Okay. I'll watch both. Those are really good recommendations.
Oh, this is hilarious. Jacob said he won fries a couple times.
The guy didn't get fries.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Steven liked it. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a good one. So, yeah, definitely check that out. Well, okay, we're coming up on an hour. Does anybody have any questions for Mogi? Because I don't want to take up her whole night. She probably needs to eat dinner and list some items.
This is the best thing.
Oh, okay. Well, wonderful.
I have no time.
Do you have other questions? What were your other questions that you put in our?
Yeah. Okay. Well, are you on Mercari?
I just rejoined. Well, not rejoined, but I just started listing again.
Did Mercari? I don't know if you can. Did Mercari email you wanting to collab on a video?
No, but they asked me to be in their pro seller program.
Oh, okay. They asked me to collab on a video.
Oh, well.
I want to do it, but I don't have you done sponsored posts? Okay, I don't even know if we should go there. But is that hard?
I'll go there, Mogi.
Okay. I don't know if it's interesting to other people.
Yeah, it probably is. There's people in here who have YouTube channels.
Oh, yeah,
so they want you to start listing on there and they'll do a sponsored video, or like they'll pay you for a video?
Well, they told me, okay, we want you to do a video. Here's kind of what we want you to cover.
Yeah.
How much should we pay you? Which I'm like, never done one before. I could go on Social Blue Book, which is what I should do, but maybe. But I'm like, of course, I call myself a bad perfectionist where I like have this idea and expectation of what I want to do. And unless I deliver on that, it's like I don't want to do anything.
Right.
And then I either A, don't end up doing anything, or then B, procrastinate for so long until it's too late or whatever. So I'm like, I have this really like concept I want to do, and I want to pitch it to them, and I want to donate all the money to charity and all this stuff. But anyway, I've never done any sponsored posts of any kind. So
Social Blue Book. Social Blue Book is a good place to start. So anybody who's not familiar with Social Blue Book, there's like free and paid accounts, but I think you can kind of get by with just
one free.
Yeah, so you get one platform free.
Yeah, one platform free.
So basically what you do is, so if you are a content creator of some sort on social media, you can sign up with Social Blue Book and make sure you link the account. If you want to do the free version, link the account that you care most about getting information on. So for instance, YouTube, and it will basically look at the data of, I guess, your subscribers or whatever information your views, all that sort of stuff. And it'll tell you your rate that you should charge, kind of an estimate on what you should charge for like a shout out or a full length video, or I can't remember what else all the different things are. But I mean, I think just in general, if you're going to do some sort of sponsored content, like don't undervalue yourself. You know, we tend to do that a lot of the time. And the thing is that these companies are paying hundreds and thousands of dollars to some people to do content for them.
Yeah. So,
and so saying, you know, don't be like $50, because the truth is they're probably paying somebody else in your same niche, right, to do a video for $500.
Yeah.
So for $50, they're going to get you at a really good deal.
I wouldn't do anything for $50. No.
Right.
But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I won't even get into numbers, but yeah, I mean, but it's just, I think that's the obstacle that's stopping me is like, I have never done it before. Have you run into any issues before? I mean, like,
not necessarily. For me, it's always just staying organized with it.
Yeah.
So like recently, like right now I have a partnership with Skillshare.
That's great.
Yeah, which like it feels nice when you have something that feels appropriate for your audience, right? Because the people who are watching my videos are watching a how-to on something in some sort of fashion. And I like when I'm able to offer something to people who are watching. So with Skillshare, they give me like the opportunity to offer like 500 free premium memberships for 2 months for people. So you can, you know, if I were to encourage people to do it, like do it and then cancel after 2 months. You know what I mean? Like get your first, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice when you can partner on things that you feel comfortable with. Because I've definitely had companies that have reached out to me that on stuff that I'm like, no, this doesn't feel, you know, like jewelry or
so many jewelry, so many swimwear. I'm like,
like random weird Amazon products. And so, you know, just know that whoever your content creators are, and when you think to yourself, oh, they're doing a sponsored post, trust that they have weeded through a lot of them and they feel like this one is the best fit.
Yeah.
So,
and trust in the fact that they put in it's kind of what Steven said when he was like, I get paid like $3 an hour once I've tallied up all the time I spend. Like, it's a lot of work for a little reward. So, you know, putting up with a 30-second like this, blah, 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 blah is.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and I was just having this conversation with somebody that I just interviewed for my podcast about, you know, if you want to do like YouTube go into it with the right intentions, right? It's probably not going to be a huge moneymaker for you. There's just like anything in life, there's a small percentage of people who make a lot of money. And then there's a large percentage of people who make a little bit of money. Or maybe
most of the people who make a lot of money, it took a long time of making no money.
Exactly. Yes. And so, there's time, there's luck, good timing or luck or whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of factors that go into it. And so you have to just enjoy it. Like that has to be part of it. And then when these opportunities come up, they get to be like the icing on your cake, right? In addition to your $3 an hour or whatever it is, or $3 a day paycheck from YouTube. Mm-hmm. So you just have to, if you want to be on YouTube, you're probably somebody in general who just likes maybe helping other people or teaching other people or providing information to other people, connecting with people. Like that has to be your intentions behind wanting to start a channel. Oh, we got a comment that, it took somebody, it's going to take you a long time to get monetized sometimes, right?
It didn't that long at least. Well, for my first video. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a process. The journey to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, people think it's really simple and it's not.
Especially the 4,000 watch hours. I have a lot of friends who have 1,000 subscribers, but it's only over a certain period of time, like a year. So it's pretty good.
And if you're lucky, right, you get a viral video. And that can help you get some watch hours. Steven said he bought a coffee with his $3 earnings. Hey, it paid for something.
Yeah, true.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So where, for you, I guess on YouTube, like where do you see the future of that going for yourself? I mean, do you have any like structure or schedule with it?
So I'm horrible about deadlines. If you watch, Matt and I did a Q&A video and
he did that
whole bit about deadlines with me, and it was like, okay, it was funny. But he's honestly like, him coming into the business is so good for that reason, because it's forcing me to be better about deadlines. So me having a schedule of any kind is usually a joke. But now I'm trying to do Monday, Thursday. But do I have a video for tomorrow? So I'm literally getting up at 6 a.m. tomorrow to shoot my video. I'm going to edit it and post it because I told Matt we would have one. So, but the long-term vision of YouTube is like, especially now, because advertisers are spending so little on ads, I've noticed our CPM go down so much. Our revenue on YouTube is like not a lot. I mean, especially compared to like January or something, or December. So for that reason, it's not driven by money whatsoever. It's really, I guess, driven by kind of what I said earlier. Like I really do, like I would love to be able to just live my dream of starting different businesses throughout my life and then helping people in however which way I can. That's where I get purpose, really. Like if I just started businesses, I feel like that would be fun, but somewhat empty. Like I wouldn't be really making the world, other than employment, a better place. Yeah. If I can help, like I really think in a lot of industries, the biggest barrier to entry is just information. Like you just don't know what you don't know. Right. And so if I can lift that barrier, at least, that would be cool. Yeah. And so I've tried to start a coffee shop in my lifetime. Like I would love to show that process if I ever do that again, or whatever I decide to do. So of course I'll have boundaries along the way, but I think just seeing someone do it. Yeah. Like I grew up seeing my grandma start a business and really grow it and sell it. Yeah. So that expanded my idea of what was possible. And so if I could do that. What about you?
Oh, I don't know. Business as usual.
No, but how does YouTube play into your business model? Why are you on YouTube? All the things.
Yeah. I think, why am I on YouTube? I wanted to connect with other people, and I enjoyed watching it when I first started and saw the value in it for myself. And so I wanted to do that for other people. I have that background working in human resources, and one of the things I loved was working one-on-one with employees, like employee development, training, and that sort of stuff. So that part of it has been really fun. I don't know where I see the future of it going, you know? I mean, it's so hard to see the future of anything right now, I guess. So that's a little bit of a struggle. You know, right now I've just been doing haul videos. If I had a haul, what sold videos, if things are selling. So
coming up with content right now is kind of hard. Is it?
It is. Yeah. So that's why I love going live, because I'm like, well, I'm talk to people, which I like talking with people. And, you know, it's a way to bring us all together when we're feeling like we're kind of alone right now. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have a grand plan.
Publicly about whether or not you would ever do coaching?
Kind of. So I touched on it a little bit, and I know that you and I had a conversation with it, and I was doing it back in January pretty regularly. And then it got to be a little timely for me. And, you know, just like all things in this business, I had to decide, was the money I was making from it enough to justify the time?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a question I had to face. And so I basically just stopped advertising it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I continued to work with anyone who I was working with. And then, so
talking about a lot of time.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is just like, it's hard because my business the primary source of my income comes from reselling. And so that's why it's hard juggling the YouTube and the podcast coaching, because that stuff is not my primary income. And it's hard because it's like, well, do I want to shift that? And which one do I want to shift it to?
That's actually my goal. I think I was just thinking this in the future is have have reselling as one source of revenue, have all my other sources of revenue in another bucket, and have them be equal. I would really love to diversify in that way, because having a majority of it in one is just, I think it's not like smart risk wise. So
yeah, I agree.
That's what I'm learning a lot right now during this pandemic is, you know, having too much in one bucket is potentially a risky thing to do.
Well, yeah, I think especially right now, you know, I think some people are experiencing it, you know, if you were only on one platform, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a right. There's no time like the present to be multi-platform, because if one is going slow for you, and they're all slower right now, then you have maybe another platform making you money. Additionally, if you are a content creator, perhaps beyond reselling and beyond being on multiple platforms, maybe your social media is making money for you, like your YouTube, or I don't know, sponsored posts or collaborations, or all that different stuff. So I agree with you that, I'm happy in times like this that I'm like, well, YouTube doesn't pay a lot of money, but it pays me a little bit of money. And that little bit of money sure helps out right now. Or same with my podcast. It doesn't pay a lot of money, but it pays a little bit of money each week. And that's very helpful for me and my family. So
has that been growing over the course of this?
Well, it's been interesting. So since, quarantine and shelter in place, I mean, my listens are still really good, but they've been down.
And I read that somewhere where podcasts listenership is down.
It's because people aren't commuting.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a lot of times where people are listening to podcasts is in the car, on the bus, or even if you were working at home, like reselling, you know, maybe if you listen to it while you photograph. Well, anybody who doesn't have inventory right now isn't photographing and isn't listening to a podcast, right?
And then my viewership, even on YouTube, is down. Is that true for you?
Oh, I mean, yeah, my earnings are down. My CPM is down. Mm-hmm.
What is your view count down?
Depending on the content. If I happen to have inventory, then my viewership is up.
Okay, that's the video I'm shooting tomorrow. Is like my
so that'll do well. Or what sold videos tend to do well because people, right? They want to know what to sell.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that sort of content I think is doing well. But I'm curious, you know, when you were saying that about wanting to grow businesses, if you could, not given any of like current circumstances, if you could just like right now start another business, and it's not reselling or whatever, like whatever it is, what would it be? Because you mentioned like the coffee.
I had one. I told you before this that we're writing a business plan. I'm not ready to reveal it. So, but I will get into what excites me. So, what I love doing is like going through life or going through business or whatever, and like finding a problem that I can't find a solution to, and then researching it and being like, why doesn't this solution exist?
Yeah.
And that's how I would love, and then starting a business tailored to that. So I wanted to start my coffee shop. It was going to be called Gratitude Coffee, because I really did feel like there was like I still feel like this way. There is a pretty big awakening happening in terms of like understanding that therapy is important, and self-development is important, all these self-growth is important. And so I was going to be focused on that, and like all of our packaging and everything was going to be kind of focused on that. But anyway, but other things, but I would this is my brain. But I would love to go through life. Actually, if I had unlimited time and capital and resources where I could just delegate, I don't know if I want to say this online. Okay, whatever. You guys are gonna do it.
It's just you and I. Don't worry about the 154 other people right now.
Yeah. Wait, is that how many people?
Yeah, say hi. No.
How many?
153 now. We scared one away.
Wow. Okay. Hi. But one thing I always look at is like, where in the market are there like really massive inefficiencies?
Yeah.
And one thing that really bothers me is with dry cleaning, how I can't go from one dry cleaner to the next and even know what my bill will be. And it keeps me from like wanting to go. Yeah. I would love to create a solution to that problem. And I've done research, and there's a lot of barriers to entry with dry cleaning. Yeah. So, but if I could wave a magic wand and create an app and create a solution for that, oh my gosh, I would love it. I would love to be able to just go on my app and be like, I have 10 shirts, 3 pants, whatever dresses, and that's how much it's going to be. Okay.
So there's no app for that right now for dry cleaning?
Not a nationally scaled one.
Got it.
Maybe locally there are different ones.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one that's been franchised out.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, because I know that there's like wash services, like for instance, like my brother lives in New York, and he gets his laundry done, and I'm sure he probably does it from an app, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, there are local. Yeah. So when I lived in New York, I worked for several different startups, and I would go to these like angel investor pitch contests. And I remember there being one like that. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. But the problem is like every different locale has different needs when it comes to, because the dry cleaning all happens in like a warehouse. And if you're in New York, like actually having accessible warehouse space that you can like take in and out is hard. And it's like a huge barrier to entry. Anyway.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Nobody steal it.
Panda Express owners, they actually were who are from the Pacific Northwest. They were going to start this idea. I need to follow up and see.
Yeah.
So anyway, what about you? Other than reselling, if you could wave a magic wand and start a business?
House flipping. I mean, it's not far from reselling, but that interests me. And I'm not experienced, so it's like I don't come from like a handy background or anything like that. But
wait, do you know that I had my my real estate license in Kansas, and I flipped kind of my home. I like tore it apart and redid it.
And how'd it go? How awful was it?
I would never do it again. Like I had PTSD.
But did you make money, or did you?
So two of the houses that I did it on, the one I actually did more improvements and renovations to, I lost money on. The other one, I just kind of timed the market right and I made money on. But we also have, anyway. So, but it's just, I know it yourself. If you ever do it.
I don't know that I really want to. It just sounds fun. Like it's fun in the way where it's like, remember hearing like, I don't know, like Kim and Kanye were doing it. I'm like, if I had Kim and Kanye, like if I had Kim and Kanye money, or like Ellen was doing it too. If I had Ellen money, because you could like hire all the best, most reliable people. Yeah. But on my scale, no.
Yeah. And that's the thing is things bust the budget all the time, and you run it like the house where I lost money. We ran into termite damage where I then had to it was just, and it wasn't I had it inspected and everything. It'll take years off your life. You know what I mean? Like it's very stressful.
Yeah, right. Like in the long run, that I used to think I wanted to own a coffee shop because I worked in coffee for a long time.
That's right.
But then I don't know if I want to be public facing again with customers.
Yeah. That was the number one reason why I didn't want to do it. And the number two reason is I'm so glad now I don't have that business because I would be going under. It's so fragile. It's a fragile industry.
It is. Yep. Yeah. Restaurant industry. Yeah. So I don't know. I think retired would probably be the best career for me. Just retired with a lot of money. Hi, Oliver. I know. I'm like, my little dog went, come here, Winnie.
Sorry.
She's a twin to yours.
He's 15 though. He's my old man puppy.
That's what I was just saying about my dog earlier. My son and I were talking. I was like, our dogs are just eternally puppies because when they're like little and cute, like a little white dog looks like a puppy for people. So
I used to have a toy poodle though, and when he got old, he looked old. Like he had a collapsed trachea, which is like, but Ollie, like honestly, looks younger than he is. I think he's doing well. He's holding up.
Yeah.
These live long. Anyway.
How's your family doing? Are they shelter in place?
Yes. So they are now. My dad's like and it's fine if I show this. My dad's like a serious prepper. Like before any of this happened, he had all these masks, like N95 masks, all of these beds. He's donated the masks now, but which is good. So proud of him. He has like 6 years of canned food in his basement.
What?
Happened. Yeah, he has 6 rollaway beds. So he's legit. So if anything were to go wrong, I could just drive to Kansas and I'd be okay.
And you'd be set.
Yeah. But there was actually scared, which at one point I was actually afraid they were going to cut off the borders of different states.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, ooh, do I go to Kansas now? But we're not going to do that. But and then my mom is much less like that.
Yeah.
And so she's fine now, though. I was just micromanaging her and worried about her, and I put
No, I think we all feel like that way with our parents right now because it's right. Like they are the population of people who are most at risk. And with my parents,
not taking it seriously.
I know. Well, shockingly, my parents did. I thought I thought I would have to be worried about it, but they are taking it seriously, which is good. And
Denali
I've been picking up their groceries, so that's been helpful. And
that's good.
Yeah, but
are they okay? Yeah, how are your parents?
They're doing well. I mean, they're not going anywhere except for their house. Oh, speaking of this, because I was going to tell my parents this, but I'll tell you this too. So I had been talking with friends, again, my friends Tiffany and Hugo, Sell Quick, Ship Quick, and they were telling me how they took one of their cars off the road, like uninsured one of the cars. So basically you're not paying for insurance on a car when it doesn't make sense because you're not driving it.
Right.
So I called my insurance company the other day. I saved $300. Yeah. So take a car off the road. If you guys aren't driving one and you won't drive one.
There are some insurance companies that are reducing rates too, even if you are still driving, right?
Yeah. So now what they're doing is they're like, a lot of companies are going to give you like a refund on your premium at the end of the month, but they should do that because rates should be significantly down anyway, because nobody's driving and there's less accidents. So they should just be doing that anyway. And I've seen that insurance companies are going to be investigated because are they actually offering enough of a refund back to customers? Because for instance, I called and I think we have Progressive, and they said it's only going to be 20% of a refund premium. But given how much money they're saving right now, it probably should be significantly higher. But nonetheless, take a car off the road. If you're not using one of your vehicles, save some money. I was shocked, $300. So
okay, yeah, that's actually really smart. I think we will take masks.
Or any of your bills. I mean, if you have, I don't know if you have student loans or anything like that, call.
Oh,
it's a lot of stuff you don't need to be paying for right now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's really smart to stay on top of these things, and I need to learn.
Well, it's easier said than done. I mean, it's easy to say, it's easy to say to do all this, but who the heck wants to call their insurance company and be on hold?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, like, when you're an entrepreneur, I think of my time as like being billed. So if I'm like, switching other than this, but if I'm switching my time over to anything that's like not really, I mean, I guess that's making you money. You can justify that. But but when we were on the podcast together, we were talking about like dentists, like going to the dentist.
Yep.
Getting your teeth clean. Like, I'm thinking, not only am I paying out the wazoo for that, I'm also losing potentially hours of my time that could be spent making money. So it's, being an entrepreneur is, there are a lot of interesting,
Everything comes first. The business comes first and everything else in life comes last.
I wish that could be, I like it that way. I just wish everything else, like, there were no other problems. Like, you only could focus on your business.
Well, it'd be nice if you could pause everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay, if I don't go to the dentist, like, could I also just like not get any cavities because I didn't go?
Yes.
And make that like not a problem. And then I'll do it later when I have time.
Yeah.
Or even, okay, so we just took one of our cars in because there was a recall. Like, we have a Subaru and it feels like there's a recall. Okay, so you have that too, right? You probably have like a recall on yours, right? Yeah. So I had to take it in for like an airbag. Was yours the airbag one?
Maybe.
Anyway,
I don't remember.
I have been putting it off for a year or more. Like,
okay, no. I just got mine, so it's not that. But
no, I've been putting mine off for a while, and so we finally had made an appointment, and it was for 2 days ago. Okay, so my husband and I were like, well, I wonder if they're still open given quarantine. Yeah, they're still open. Apparently, that's an essential business. I'm sorry for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, well, should we take it in? And we really didn't want to because it still was going to be time out of our lives. But somehow in quarantine, it feels appropriate. Like, listen, the world is literally shut down. If you can't take your car to get a life-saving repair.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did it. But
good. Yeah.
I know.
So that's a perfect example. I literally have a letter from Subaru. I only got it like a month ago.
Yeah.
So it's sitting on my kitchen counter. So it's like a daily reminder. Yep. And like this email from Mercari. I'm like, it's like all these things that are just like, I mean, Mercari is my business, but like all these things still coming at you, life still coming at you.
Yeah.
But you really have to be like, okay, what can I actually cut my time? Like, I really can't focus on everything. What is absolutely essential? What can we put back to later?
Well, that's where I
never. Okay, what do you delegate?
I don't know.
Personal assistant.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was gonna say, I was like, can Matt help you with these things? Does he want to?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm so I was listening to do you know Esther Perel?
Mm-mm.
Okay. She has a podcast now. She's an amazing psychiatrist.
Yeah.
She has a podcast now called, what's it called? Something about how is work, something like that. I need to listen to it, but I was listening to an interview about her talking about the podcast. And she was like, one of the most important questions to ask if you go into a partnership or something in your business is, are you someone who grew up in a self-sufficient household, or one that was like very collaborative and like, I forget what the word she used, but the same thing. I grew up in a very self-sufficient household. So I really have, like I said earlier, I have a hard time passing things off. So Matt and I have like been together 9 years. We have separate finances. We have separate everything.
Yeah.
So anyway, but delegation wise, where are you seeing? Do you have any interest in delegating? And if so, where?
I mean, again, only if I hired somebody on for my business. Like, that's the thing in life that I need the help the most with. I mean, personally, sure. I mean, there's a lot
of people, like in real estate, they say hire an assistant first, and they will do mainly like business things. But like, for instance, talking to, your sponsorship emails, they would like totally take care of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's something you could hire a VA to do for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know that's something that a lot of people will, in business will do, is hire a VA, have them respond back, or book appointments that you need. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want to call in and you don't want to be on hold or all that stuff. I know that the only hoops you'll have to jump through is like, you have to make sure you authorize all these people to speak on your behalf.
Yeah.
Which will be annoying initially, long-term will pay off.
Yeah. And right now I feel like virtual assistant would be like a great way to pump money back into the economy and also make more money,
Well, it depends on where you hire your virtual assistant. Like I have a virtual assistant, but mine's international. So it's not like I'm not pumping money back internationally.
Back into the international economy.
Oh yeah. And mine is wonderful. I love her. She's great. And
that's cool that you talk about that. I didn't know you had an international VA.
Yeah, I do. She's in the Philippines. She's married. She's got children, and we've been working together for 2.5 or 3 years now. I can't remember how long it's been. So quite a while. Yeah.
So Matt's brother owns many online businesses, and he uses VAs in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And he has several that he's like, you guys need to just hire these people.
Yeah.
When I went, I'm probably going to get whatever. This is probably not the right thing for me to say. But when I went to Mexico, we stayed in a good resort. It wasn't like whatever. It was a good enough resort. Yeah. And we made friends with people who worked there. And they were like going above and beyond to give us like the best service. And they were just like the most hardworking, nicest, like kindest people I've ever met. Yeah. And so I was like curious. I was like, I wonder what they make, just like whatever. I Googled it. Yeah. And I was like researching it. And it was just astounding to me that these people, if they were in the United States with their skill set, would be able to translate that into like so much more money. Especially if they live in somewhere like New York or, wherever, just with their ability to like provide like the best service. Yeah. And it really opened my eyes to like, okay, it's really like, we're very privileged to just be in this country, but there's a lot of opportunity to give people a better life outside of even this, the United States. And to like pay them, like minimum wage in Portland is $14 an hour. If I were to pay people there that much, that would literally change lives.
Life changing. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's something that I think about a lot.
No, it's true. I mean, I've used like a cleaning service. I could have somebody come clean my house. And so I was using that app called Handy. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but
you told me about it. And I need to use your referral link. So I was Handy.
So I was using the service, and I had this really sweet lady who was coming and cleaning my house regularly. And she would bring her husband with her, and they both would clean because it would like cut down on the time that they were there or whatever. But I got to talking with them one day, and they were telling me that they weren't going to be able to clean my house anymore because they were having to go back to, I think it was Brazil is where their home country was, because her husband needed to go back and keep up his certification because he was an EMT.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But unfortunately, his credentials, they don't transfer over here. Yeah. And his English language skills weren't as good or as confident as he felt that they could be. And so, here he was just like stuck cleaning houses.
Yeah. I mean, you hear about that all the time, how doctors move over here. I mean, not all the time. I've heard of stories about that. Like
exactly. Prime example of somebody who has like a skill set much higher than mine, who's in my house cleaning when they could literally save my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I know. So,
but really, honestly, in the next 20, 30 years, globalization is going to be such a bigger and bigger topic. Like someone was asking me the other day, like they just had a baby, and they were like, we want to get a Spanish whatever nanny, and so that their baby can learn Spanish. And I was like, honestly, I think in 18 years it would not be far-fetched to think that we have some kind of device where we can understand every single language. because Google's already.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm like Google Translate, right? That's what. Google
How would that change the global economy? Like, insane.
Well, that's how she would communicate with me, because the wife didn't even feel that confident with her language skills. And so she would just talk into it. And it was crazy because I'd never used it before. And it's like, as she spoke, it was like translating and saying it to me.
Yeah.
She was so comfortable with it. Like myself, I was like, I get nervous about using it. I wanted to like whip out my Spanish skills more than I wanted to talk to Google Translate.
Like, dang it.
No, but I do think about just the impact that my money does have, like with my virtual assistant. And, it's not a ton of money, but for them, it's like, for me, it's not a ton of money, but for them, it is like a great working and living wage.
Exactly.
Not necessarily a wage that maybe people in the US would work for, but for her, it probably helps pay for her life and her family's life.
I know, because we are, like I said, considering about hiring a VA in the Philippines, and like we have one, we know, because of Matt's brother. And I was like, oh, it is, I'm not supporting people in the community, and I'm not supporting like, people here in the United States. But then I was like, but I'm supporting a human being. It's like, is their life less value just because they're not in the community or not in the United States, and I can actually make a bigger impact on their life. So my brother's really, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. My brother's really into like social impact, and so he sends me all these books and he talks to me about it all the time. But I don't know, it's really, especially during this time, during the pandemic, where I'm like, I really, like if I were to do that sponsored post by Mercari, I would want to make the biggest impact with that money possible. And so, I don't know. It's interesting because as a business, the beautiful thing about having a business is you really can make an impact.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I think you should. I'm like, if you're going to give that money away, then you should definitely do the sponsored post or thing from Mercari.
Well, I was like, okay, this would be a good thing to motivate me, because for some reason in my brain, I'm like, okay, if it's me, I'll put it off. But if it's like literally for people who really, really need this money right now, like I shouldn't procrastinate. But I have been procrastinating. So,
you know what you could do? I mean, you could pick your own organization that you want to give it to, or you could like ask your subscribers where the money should go to.
Or ask y'all, is anyone watching still?
Yeah, there's 127 people still with us.
Yeah, tell me, where should I give these money to?
Yeah, for impactful organizations that she could give her money to. I don't know why, but the only one or first one that came to mind, and I don't even know that much about them, was like Feeding America.
Yeah. Are they a national one? I knew they're like really big in New York.
They are, yeah. I think Feeding America is like a national one. Oh, sorry. I'm going to bring up some of the posts here. Somebody said, how do you find a VA in the Philippines? Is there a website? I did a video on virtual assistants. So you can check it out on my channel, where I literally walk through using the website Upwork. Not a sponsored video. I would love it if they sponsored me, but they did not. I did a great free promotion for them. So that's one resource, but there's other places like Fiverr, Fiverr.com, where you can find virtual assistants there. It's just a matter of preference on what sort of platform you want to use. So
there's also the one we're using. I can't remember. Matt's in charge of it, but
okay.
If he comes, he's supposed to come and get Ollie. So if he comes and gets Ollie, because
okay.
But if he comes, I'll share it too. But I've used Upwork and Fiverr before for they have also, American people.
Yeah, so you can choose anybody. I mean, obviously my choice in going international to outsource the work is because the rate is cheaper. You can find the same quality of work, but for cheaper. It's crazy cheaper. I mean, in the US, you might be looking at paying a virtual assistant $15 to $20 an hour. And in the Philippines, you could be looking at paying somebody $3 to $4 an hour. And which sounds really small. It's a shocking number when people hear that. However, you do have to know that the cost of living is much smaller in some of these countries. So $3 to $4 an hour could be the equivalent of what $15 to $20 an hour might be. So
100%. Like when I was in Mexico and I was looking that up, it's just like you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember, but it was something like crazy, like $100 a month or something, or like several $100s a month.
No, that's
whereas like, what? Choose something with me. I don't know. Yeah. Y'all. Okay, the CDC is good.
Steven says Charity Navigator.
That is maybe one. So my brother, like I said, is really into social impact. So he's like, really into like, if you're gonna give money, which he thinks you should give as much money as you absolutely can, you should make sure you're also giving it really like in an educated way, like not just like willy-nilly.
Right.
There are a lot of charities that won't use that.
Have a lot of administration costs or different stuff like that. Yep.
So okay, yeah, I will go on Charity Navigator. That's a great idea.
Macy, I'm so glad you liked my video. Thank you. Vita said in Cuba, teachers make $25 a month. I hope $25 is a lot of money there because that is nothing.
Hey, Matt, do you mind sharing, what's the website we were going to use to get a VA on? Do you mind sharing that information?
I can't, I don't know, something PH, I forget.
If you can find it, yeah.
Okay.
PH, that's a start. PH. There's a P and there's an H in it.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, it's something.
In Cuba, there's 25 teachers make $25 a month. I mean, that's what it translates into their currency, but still, that's all. That's crazy.
Tori said, yeah, there's so many ways to give. This is so true. Tori and Bill have a really awesome, I'm not going to eloquently say it. So hopefully Tori and Bill can talk about this maybe in the chat, but they have crowdfunded some money, and they're going to be giving away money to resellers who are in need, kind of as like a form of a grant. And so they're going to give out like a lump sum to people, but then they're asking that whoever receives it gives half of it to somebody else who will need it. So go check out Tori's Instagram.
I love that. That's okay. I need to give to y'all.
Yeah. So, and additionally, I know Tori's making masks, and I think the money from the masks is going to go towards that. So if anybody needs a mask still, which there's probably a lot of people who need masks.
Tori is just like one of the best humans that exists.
Yes, she is. I completely
thank you for existing, Tori, and being you. You are amazing.
We'll come to Seattle. Then we'll make Tori and Bill come over from the east side because they moved.
Yes.
Living in Seattle, then they moved to the east side of the state, which is more of they get hotter hot and they get colder cold.
Wait, they moved?
Yeah, so they're still in Washington, but they live now in Spokane, which is like on the other state. I don't know if Oregon must be the same way too. Your eastern side of the state must get hotter hot, and well, you'll find out.
Well, I left Portland. No.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Megan's work was my life. I meant it.
Megan's giving some really great organizations here.
Okay.
Alight. I've never heard of this one.
I'm writing this down. I'm going to write all these down. CDC.
Alight. What was the other one? Charity Navigator.
Wait, what?
Charity Navigator was the one said. Then she said this one, Direct Relief, is providing medical supplies and protective equipment to health workers around the world. That's an awesome one.
Direct Relief. Charity Navigator. Okay.
I think those are the
I would see, that's the thing is I would really want to find a sustainable way to give back. And I've also really wanted to get sponsored posts going. So if I could marry the two, maybe for the rest of my life, all my sponsored post money, just go to charity. Wouldn't that be cool? I think that's great.
That's great, but don't lock yourself into the rest of your life, Mogi. There might be a day where you need to like buy yourself a meal with that money.
But maybe those sponsored posts would be more successful because people would know they're going to charity.
That's true. That's actually really true. You could probably get a lot more people to like sign up for stuff if they knew that the money was going to charity. So that's actually really good. I'm curious. I wonder if the companies like Mercari, they probably wouldn't, but I wonder if they have any issue with that.
I know.
And
I also kind of want to ask them to match it. Like, wouldn't that be cool? That would be such a good PR look for them.
It would, but they're probably like, we're already giving you money. Oh, Megan's got another one. Megan could go all night. Modest Needs provides emergency financial assistance to individuals and families It focuses on those that might not qualify for federal assistance to prevent households from poverty. Megan, you're awesome. How do you know all these?
I know. What? Megan,
you work in the nonprofit sector? I'm curious.
That's so cool.
Oh, here we go. She said, yeah, she works in nonprofit fundraising.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is
a hard job too.
Yeah, it is. My mom worked in that for a while. Nonprofit is a thankless job.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Very hard.
Such an important one, and one that really needs to be applauded like a million times over.
Exactly.
So, thank you, Megan. You're incredible.
You're awesome. Well, all right. Well, okay. I've kept you for an hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to let you go get back to Matt, but
I'll let you get back to your family.
No, they left me. I think they took out the glider, the airplane glider, and they're playing. So,
oh, that's fun.
Which is good. I'm like, get out of the house. Like everybody needs to get out of the house, you know?
Yeah.
All of us do. Just like a short walk around the block even just feels good. So, thank you everyone to coming and hanging out with me and Mogi. And thank you so much, Mogi, for being on your first live, not my first.
Yeah.
You should go live on your channel.
I know. Yeah. I'm really nervous that no one's going to be there, but I should maybe get 10,000 or something.
Are you crazy? You do not need to wait for 10,000. Because I promise you 10,000 people actually won't show up.
No, I know.
No, just go live now. It's a great way. People really love connecting with the people that they subscribe to this way. So it's fun. Just for Q&A alone. So, but
anyway, StreamYard. Shout out to StreamYard again.
StreamYard's awesome. There's so many cool features. Like you can look at this. We can do like example. You can create a banner. Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna try and create a banner and put your name on there, but I don't know how to do it. Hypothetically, I would put up a banner and it would say www.mogibeth.com. I don't know if she owns that. Do you own that?
I do. I'm working on that.
Okay, good. Just making sure you own that because I was like, go buy that now because somebody's going to go buy it from you.
Yeah. No, I've owned it for a while. You own DUCHO.com?
I do. I was like, do I? I do. Yes. I own that and I own flipthescriptpodcast.com. I should probably buy DUCHO Thrift. And I've bought some other.
Is DUCHO built out?
No, currently I just have it redirecting to my eBay store.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but now I started that Shopify store, so I should have it like redirect to my Shopify.
Okay.
Then I don't know.
I started Shopify. Anyway, next time I have a million other questions. And I want to know, do you have a newsletter?
I have a mailing list.
But no newsletter.
No, but I sent out communications.
Okay.
Yeah, so I use MailChimp.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Have you started one?
So I had one and then I stopped when I moved. And so.
But you still have everyone's email, right?
Yeah, I have the list. It's not a lot of people, but it's a start. But everyone says like that list is the most important thing you can have as a business owner. So.
Is someone's email. Yes. Yeah. So for any content creators out there, if you don't have a mailing list, start one.
Because, yeah. If you want to start a newsletter with me, we can share in the trials and tribulations of figuring out what to put on there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I don't know if anyone wants to hear what I have to say, but yeah, I'm more than willing to start one.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me, Denali. This was so fun.
Of course. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.